going down earlier today in Haw River as parts of the Piedmont stay alert for severe weather. This is video taken at around 2 near the Old Cone Mills plant. Good evening and thanks for watching the Piedmont's only newscast at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, thanks for staying local with us. And the big story of the hour locally, what's happening outside your front door. Many of you are seeing the weather outside rocking and rolling right now. Chief Meteorologist Van Ditton is checking this the severe weather and all the updates right now. And Van, you've been talking your toes off for the better part of 30 minutes as this system is rolled on through.
Well, you know, we haven't had a lot of occasions to have to do that so far this spring, so we all need to be ready for severe weather. We are in severe weather season, and we are dealing with a system that's moving through here this afternoon. Now, before we go into a little more on this radar, I want to show you what's driving this right now. And what's driving it is a cold front that's moving in. Once this cold front moves through, which will be over the next couple of hours here in the Triad, we can all rest. So tonight you'll be in good shape. Now this watch that is out is technically out until 9 o'clock tonight, and you can see the outline for that watch from Rockingham to Forsyth and Davie or to Davidson and points east. It does go till 9 o'clock, but it's only because it goes all the way to the coast, and they will trim us out as soon as that front moves through. So in a few hours, that should be the case. But right now, we're dealing with some pretty rough weather across our area. Again, we do have severe warnings out there. We've got one that we've been tracking here in Davidson County that is now, or Davie County, that's been moving out of Iredell County, getting some really heavy rain around Moxville, back up to the northwest side. And then also another area that we're watching is a severe thunderstorm that is going on currently in Randolph County. You can see this particular storm that's going on this afternoon as well. This has been moving across the city of Asheboro, and now it continues to move along Highway 64, both sides of the highway. Folks that live in this area getting some weather. And then the warning also extends up into parts of southeastern Guilford County as well, as we've had some stormy weather, and some of this could still develop back in that area over the next hour or so. So we're watching all this area that's rolling through the area here this afternoon. Temperatures are cooler in the north, so no threat there. It's off to the south and east where it's been warmer, and we've had that threat of severe weather. And you can see a lot of activity also in the eastern parts of our state. And as far as our severe potential goes right here in our coverage area, hail and wind is our #1 threat, but there's a small chance for an isolated tornado. We've already had reports of the hail today in the eastern parts of the Piedmont. And if you look at the tornado odds, you can see our odds here within 25 miles of any random spot, 2% on the west side of the Triad to 5% in the east. The bullseye for severe potential from tornadoes is in the northeastern part of our state and southeastern Virginia, where it's 10 to less than 15%. That's pretty high. We'll have more for you coming up.
Well, new today at 4, we are following a developing story out of Forsyth County.
A Reynolds High School track coach is accused of asking a 15-year-old student to do some pretty inappropriate things. When it happened, 23-year-old Thomas Eric McKeechin was a part-time employee with the school district. He was fired in January when the accusations were first reported to Winston-Salem police. According to investigators, McKeechin reached out to the teenager by computer. Police say no other students were contacted by him.
I feel confident that based on what we have been extremely thorough in doing all we could to identify any other victims.
McKeechin's charges come after a 3-month investigation. Coming up at 5, we'll take a closer look at why it took police so long to make an arrest.
I'll shoot these mother here.
Call the cops.
A FOX8 crew threatened this afternoon in Greensboro. Reporter Jasmine Spencer and photojournalist Matt Jensen were shooting video on Oak Street in the Glenwood neighborhood. They were following up on an early morning drug bust where 15 people were arrested. While our crew was across the street when you saw it there and heard it too, the woman approached them and threatened them. Police were called in to try and defuse the situation. Coming up at 6 o'clock, Jasmine will have more on the 8-month investigation and what police say was going on in that neighborhood.
Brothers arrested in Alamance County after a major string of car break-ins. Dominic Gutierrez and Christopher Gutierrez are facing 94 charges, including breaking and entering into vehicles, larceny, car theft, and possession of stolen property. The arrests come after nearly 2 months of car break-ins and larcenies reported in the north side of the county. After conducting a number of interviews, deputies were able to link them to the crimes and get a warrant to search their home. Once inside, they were also able to find more evidence linking them to the crimes. In Forsyth County, police are looking for whoever drove their SUV into a home in Winston-Salem and then left the scene.
Yeah, the family woke up to find the vehicle inside their kitchen. It happened at a home along Parkside Meadow Court near Peters Creek Parkway. A mother and her 6-year-old daughter were home at the time. Neither of them were hurt, luckily, but they were still pretty shaken up, especially the little girl's grandfather, who got a call about the crash just minutes after it happened.
My granddaughter's bedroom's right here, adjacent to the kitchen, and she slept in it last night. She normally don't sleep in her bedroom, but she slept in it last night. Now, if that SUV would have been over probably 5-10 feet, it probably would have went into her bedroom.
While police say the SUV did hit a gas tank at the house, which then caused a gas leak. Nearby neighbors were briefly evacuated just as a safety precaution. Also making headlines across the state, a sad story out of Fayetteville. A 3-year-old is in the hospital after being shot. Happened just after 3:30 this morning when someone fired shots into the home while the child was sleeping. His aunt, his grandmother, and 4 other children were inside the home but weren't hurt. Police haven't released just how bad the child was hurt, and they haven't also said if any arrests have been made. Most of the day, officers have been in and out of the neighborhood looking for any information that could lead them to the shooter. Well, another story making headlines, this one out of the Northeast. A 16-year-old is dead after yet another school stabbing.
It happened this morning at Milford's Jonathan Law High School in Connecticut. Police say Marin Sanchez was stabbed by a classmate inside a stairwell. Despite emergency workers' best efforts to save her, she was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Classes were canceled for the rest of the day as students grieved for a classmate they adored.
Vibrant, very, very involved in Jonathan Law High School, an incredible contributor, someone who was loved and respected by both her peers as well as her students.
Police have not said what may have led to the stabbing, but there are reports that it all stems from Sanchez refusing to go to the prom with her attacker. Getting ready to cook some dinner? Well, you can thank a farmer for the food on your plate.
And for the clothes on your back and a whole lot of other things too. Just ahead, we're going to take you to a celebration of all things agriculture. But first, as we continue to monitor the severe weather outside, here's a look at a very active radar across the Piedmont Triad. Be careful out there.